Alrighty, friends. So today we're going to talk about how to invest in your mind. And I know that may seem niche and unnecessary, but trust me, just stick with me through this intro. And if you want to stay or leave after that, it is up to you. So here's what I got for you this morning. So making money is the easy part. There are proven strategies already laid out for us. Find a career that pays well, that aligns with your values. Contribute to your Roth IRAs and your 401ks by diversifying into the overall market and get into real estate. All that stuff is laid out and proven. So figuring out how to make money isn't the problem. It's dedicating ourselves to these long-term plans by sacrificing what we want now for what we want later. The problem lies not in the system, the government, your boss, or your kids. It lies in your mind. So that's what I want to talk about today. You are not where you're at, not because of all of these external factors. You're not where you want to be because of your mental space. And we're going to talk about that a bit in depth and why investing in your mind matters, and then some strategies to invest in your mind. So like I mentioned, this is going to be pretty straightforward, in a deliberate, potent lesson. And so I hope you guys enjoy. If at any time you guys have questions, concerns, comments, whatever it might be, let me know, and we'll slow down, speed up, talk about it. We'll chat. I'm here for you guys. So all this curriculum is laid out for you guys and what I believe the needs of the community is. So if you guys have other thoughts, opinions, concerns, let me know. So let's jump into it. Why investing in your mind matters. So the mind, as we all know, is a very, very powerful tool. We could look at people like David Goggins, for example, if you guys are unfamiliar with his work. Amazing ultra marathon runner, Ironman runner. 100-mile races are just nuts. And he was previously a Navy SEAL, and he came from 26 years old, being 300 plus pounds, to dropping to 160, 170 pounds to join the Navy SEALs. As a black man, I think at the time he went in, there was only 25 people that had passed. Pretty incredible story. And to see how at 26 years old, when the normal textbooks tell us that neuroplasticity and stops around the age of 25, and it's essentially impossible to change your mind after that, to grow and adapt your mind. But continuous studies prove that neuroplasticity happens throughout our entire life. Yes, it becomes more difficult the older we get, but it is very accessible, and I want to touch on that today. So as we know, the mind is a powerful tool that determines how we perceive, how we learn, and how we make decisions. So investing in your mental development enhances adaptability and problem solving. So we know all this. It's so powerful, and it's a tool, and we can choose to, use it rough and abuse it with negative thoughts, emotions, substances, whatever it might be, and we can leave it in the shed wet and in the sun, or we can take care of it and continually try to push towards something bigger. And like I mentioned earlier, we know that neuroplasticity lasts throughout your lifetime. So it's proving that it's never too late to change and grow your mind. So I encourage you guys to treat your mental development as a lifelong journey, not a one-time effort when you're young. And after, your 20s, that's it. Put the books away. Whatever you got is what you got. It's not true. So I want to talk about the ROI on your mental investment. What is the return on investment of your mental development? And so skills like critical thinking, emotional intelligence, and decision making improve when you dedicate time to learning and self-reflection. These skills have a compounding effect, leading to better outcomes over time. It's just like your retirement fund. It's just like that compounding interest that you have in your retirement fund. Hopefully you have a retirement fund already set up. If not, today's the best day to start. But the way that good habits build and stack on each other, the same way that discipline and lifelong grit stacks on top of each other, the opposite is true. If we continue to talk negatively about ourselves, if we even think negatively about ourselves, continue to put off that healthy diet you've been meaning to start, these going to the gym, getting more social interactions, reading, doing all the things you know you should be doing, but you choose not to, is a really dangerous game for the long term. And though neuroplasticity is accessible at every single age that has been studied, up to 100 plus years old, you can change your mind, but it becomes increasingly more difficult. So I encourage you guys to, whatever age you're at right now, start working towards what really matters. And when we talk about the things that really matter, what are those? What is that to you? I would say, mine says you're muted. Can the rest of y'all hear me? I think so, hopefully. If you guys can, let me see. Busy. Okay, so sorry, I apologize. So looks like it's working for everybody else. If someone wants to help them out so I can continue the lesson, that'd be awesome. Thank you guys. So anyway, returning to, the ROI on your mental development, and I just want to touch on that one more time. So your, the way you stack habits, whether they're beneficial or malicious towards your overall health, or malevolent versus benevolent, those habits really, really matter. And those connections in your brain on a biological level really, really matters. And so even those small negative thoughts that happen automatically, so maybe you say you're going to go to the gym today and you fail to do it, or let's bring it to trading. Let's say you tell yourself you're not going to trade more than 4 micros, and you find yourself looking back on what just happened and you traded 6, 8, 10, 12 micros, whatever it is, and you ended up blowing an account or getting close or you in a massive drawdown, whatever it is. Those negative thoughts that may be automatic afterwards, it comes in subconsciously, where it's like, I can't believe I did that. I cannot believe that I continued to do this thing. None of that is beneficial. And I can show you to a lot of different psychological studies that proves that, but it's also intuitive. You know that. What I encourage you guys to do is to capture those thoughts and bring them to a conscious level. Say, ask yourself questions like, is this beneficial for me to be thinking about? And when you answer that question, yes or no, typically it's going to be no when you're trapping an automatic thought or a negative automatic thought pattern. Automatic negative thought, they call them ants. But when you are able to trap those and bring them to a conscious level and ask those questions, you are in real time changing the way that you will think. It may take time to weaken the connections between your neurons and strengthen the better, more positive thoughts, but starting that process really, really helps. And I highly encourage you guys to do that and start right away. Just bring that stuff to a conscious level. So I don't mean to beat the dead horse on that, but even your thoughts are extremely powerful. And, just like any other tool, if you continue to treat your mind poorly, that tool will fade over time. And we know that your diet and exercise and all that plays into your mind as well, and sleep especially. So I just encourage you guys to treat your mind like an incredibly valuable and powerful tool. And how are you going to treat that? Are you going to refine it and continue to tune it and clean it up and make sure everything's taken care of? Or are you kind of just going to binge drink and eat whatever you want, get really crappy sleep, and continue to be down on yourself and tell yourself that you're not worth it, you can't do it? And I know that stuff comes automatically. That's not always a conscious decision that you're doing. But I want to remind you that you are full agency over your mind and body. And it may not feel like it right now. And all these subconscious things keep happening and you keep finding yourself picking up the bottle or blowing accounts or telling yourself you're not worth it, I promise you, you are. And I also promise you, you have full agency and control over that. And it may take a lot of time and a lot of effort, and it's going to be hard. But focusing on those negative thought patterns, and that's not beneficial. What can I substitute these thoughts with? Say, instead of I'm not worth it and I can't believe I keep doing this, like what can I learn from this experience that just happened? I just blew another account when I said I was deliberately not going to do that and I wasn't going to scale up, but I did. What can I do to change that moving forward? I could probably start journaling. I could probably put out my risk parameters in writing and keep it taped to my monitor, whatever. Just find a better, more positive alternative. And once those habits start stacking, you won't even recognize yourself in 5 years. But that's what so many people get lost in. And that's the reason so many people find themselves until they're 70 years old living paycheck to paycheck, because they refuse to sacrifice what they want now for what they want later. And that's, again, back to my intro. That's the problem. The problem is not how to make money, not how to achieve your dreams, how to cultivate better relationships. All this stuff is, humans have been living for tens of thousands of years. This stuff is known. And I can point, if you truly are ignorant and do not know, this community alone can point you in so many amazing directions to help you align your goals and set them and strive for that stuff. But I would argue that everybody here agrees that that's not the problem. The problem is dedicating yourself to these long-term goals of yours and sacrificing what you want now for what you want later. So continuing on. So we know why investing in your mind matters. We know why people live paycheck to paycheck, because they refuse to put a little bit of money, even if it's $20 a month, towards their long-term retirement. And then they find themselves living in a place they don't want to be because they continue to refuse to invest in their future selves and continue to indulge in instant gratifications and dopamine releases that lead to a lifelong problem of addiction and just often sorrow. And I don't say that lightly, and it's a really tragic, but you guys have autonomy, you guys have agency, and you were given power at birth to do what you want to do on this earth, and you are truly in charge of that. But you have to bring that to a conscious level. You have to start an action plan and start building those habits. Otherwise, everything else is working against you, especially this day and age with your phone. And if you live in a city, you can look at your phone and you can get relationships, you can get instant dopamine dumps, you can order your food, your groceries. You don't have to leave your couch. How dangerous is that? I just want you guys to be aware of that stuff, and you guys know it, but the reminders often help, and so they help me at least, so I hope they help you. So let's talk about strategies to invest in your mind. And again, we recycle this stuff, but it's so important to talk about. So continuous learning. So, and I'm speaking to myself here as well, so take that with a grain of salt, but make a habit of acquiring new knowledge and skills through reading, courses, or mentorship. So for example, you could dedicate 30 minutes a day to reading about topics that align with your personal or professional growth. So setting monthly goals to finish half a book or a book. So for me, at a minimum, I'm going to finish the Old Testament this year. So that's a 365-day goal of mine. So I forget how many books are in the Old Testament. Let's call it 50. Some are short, some are longer, but I'm also going to read 12 non-scriptured books this year. So one a month, I'll finish a book. And that's my goal. And just finding something like that for you, maybe you really, really do have an incredibly busy life where you're working multiple jobs, you have a full family to support, you have the kids running around, you got to go to this practice and do this recital or whatever it is. I understand, extremely busy, but I know you do have time at some point, and that may be sitting on the couch and drinking a 6-pack. And I'm not telling you not to do that. I really am not telling you not to do that. But I'm asking you, where do your priorities lie? If you truly do want to invest in your future self and your future family, and how do you become the best person you want to be, not only for yourself, but for your family? Are the habits and systems you have in place today aligning with those long-term goals? And if not, how do you start working back some of these bad habits that you might have and start moving towards these habits and systems that do help you become the person that you want to be? And again, I'm not speaking from a pedestal here. I'm just asking you to ask yourself those questions. It's good. What is up, my friend? I currently do 30 minutes of Bible study in the morning, 5 days a week. I'm at the tail end of Genesis. Nice, dude. You're right behind me. I'm in like mid-Genesis or mid-Exodus right now. Yeah, it is very dense. I read through the entire New Testament in 40 days, and it felt like a breeze. And then I got into even late Genesis, and I'm like, yeah, this is definitely slower, but all the important nonetheless. So moving on in the lesson. I love that. Thank you for sharing, by the way. I love when you guys share. Mindfulness and self-reflection. Practice mindfulness techniques such as meditation or journaling to enhance focus and clarity. And these aren't just words. These aren't scripts. This is me. When I come up with these lessons, I'm trying to create extremely potent information. So of course, I am reading from my notes here, but I don't want you guys to think, when I say practice mindfulness techniques such as meditation or journaling to enhance focus and clarity, that is from a deep understanding of what meditation and journaling does, and trying to give you guys a very concise and potent and actionable phrase, because I know your time is valuable and I don't want to go on and on and on. So I appreciate you being here. But when I say, let's just take journaling, for example, to enhance your focus and clarity. Journaling, I continue to come back to it, but on just focus and clarity, what I look at journaling like is when you sit down to journal, your thoughts, your mind, if you will, it's like a ball of yarn sitting in a basket. This is how I envision it. And when you put that pen to the paper and you start writing, you may not know what to write about, but you're grabbing onto a thought, like the end of that ball of yarn, and you can start pulling it out. And you start walking that thought out. And sometimes you get a little knot and you only get a couple sentences in and it's done. But what you've just done is started to create a habit of dedicating time to yourself. Taking time out of your busy day where potentially maybe you're an extremely selfish person and everything you do is for you, but for a lot of us, a lot of what we do, and especially those with a spouse and with kids, a lot of what you do is for everybody else. When you sit down and journal, you can really take that time out of your day for just you. Maybe it's for your heart, your mind, whatever it is. That's a really powerful habit to do. And sometimes, like, I should show you my journal. Sometimes my journal entries are literally 5 words long, and sometimes they're pages. Look at this from January 6th. I don't know if you guys can see how little that is, but sometimes that's okay. And some of my other journals, I could sit down for a night and write I have about 20 journals sitting next to me, but I can fill up a quarter of one of these in one night sometimes. So it just depends. And what I'm saying with all this word soup is that I just encourage you guys to take time out of your day to dedicate it truly to yourself. And it does bring clarity. And when you are especially in emotional turmoil, sitting down and writing about a problem that you have, once you are able to clearly articulate that problem on paper, half of the work is done. Half of that problem is solved. I just encourage you guys to do that. So self-reflection improves emotional regulation and decision-making by helping you understand your patterns and triggers. And that stuff's so important to understand yourself to better. And so let's say you don't want to improve for yourself, but let's say you are a typical human who really does value social connection and intimate connection, potentially with a a partner, your spouse, or a parent, your kid, a friend, whatever that is. Better understanding yourself will help you help them love you. When you understand yourself and you can come to them and say, hey, when this happens, it really bothers me, and I'm not exactly sure why right now. I'm trying to figure it out, but I'd really appreciate it if you didn't do this anymore, or whatever that situation looks like. Understanding yourself is so powerful for reaching, again, these long-term goals that we're setting in place for ourselves, that we're sacrificing what we want now. Because to think about yourself and to sit down and write, it's not the most enjoyable thing. Most of us would, some of us would rather play video games or go out and get some beer, or whatever it is for you. Maybe you like puzzles. That's awesome. I like puzzles. I just did one the other day. But this stuff is not pretty, and oftentimes it can swell up a ton of different emotions, and none of us really are seeking to go out and do that unless we have the understanding, knowing that this is going to be really beneficial for me long term, and I'm going to sacrifice my feelings and my insecurities about myself right now to become the person I want to become. And whether that's for you or for your future family or for your family currently, you just have to ask yourself where your priorities lie. So my last little point for us here is surrounding yourself with growth-oriented people. This is arguably how masters become masters, how the best of the best in any specific area, this is how they get to where they are, having mentors. And so I just encourage you guys, and this is a lifelong pursuit, is to build a network of people who challenge and inspire you to think bigger and push boundaries. I'm constantly trying to surround myself with people who do that for me. So even if you are just joining a community like this with like-minded people who are pursuing similar goals to you and want you to think bigger and do better and truly care about you, that is so powerful on so many levels, folks. And I was thinking this other day, I had a thought about a month or two ago, probably 2 months now. And I was sitting and listening to, if I can remember correctly, it was Rick Rubin and Matthew McConaughey having a discussion on a podcast. And it was a lengthy podcast, but I was just sitting there listening to them. And I thought, especially the younger folk, the young, there's maybe teenagers in here, I don't know, but the younger you are, that network is typically smaller. And I was sitting there listening to these people that I look up to in different facets. With Rick Rubin, it comes to not only his professional career, but his mind for creativity and how powerful that can be. And he has a lifelong or a lifetime of knowledge in that subject. And so I try to surround myself with people like him and Matthew McConaughey for other reasons. And just listening to a podcast, how powerful is that in this day and age where we can create a network, even though we can't dialogue with them, to be in the same room as these incredible individuals. And Rick Rubin and Matthew McConaughey may not fall on that list for you, though they do for me. It could be any number of people, or maybe you're the person that you really, really look up to may not have a podcast, but people similar to him or her in their career path or in their line of whatever it is you're interested in. There are tremendous opportunities in this day and age for you to put yourself in a group that aligns with all the things that you want to accomplish. So I just had that thought the other month, that how incredible, like I can just sit here and essentially be in the same room as these individuals and just listen to their conversation. So that's really cool. That's a great way to continue to surround yourself with growth-oriented people, even if your circle in the physical world is quite small right now. Or maybe you live in the boondocks of Alaska, and it's going to be really hard for you to put yourself in, some of the communities that you want to be a part of. So thanks for listening, folks. I leave you with this. Investing in your mind is the most valuable commitment you can make for personal and professional growth. By prioritizing continuous learning, practicing mindfulness, and surrounding yourself with inspiring people, you can cultivate a mindset that drives you towards success in every aspiration that you have. That's all I got for you guys today, folks. If you have any questions, comments, want to just open it up to dialogue, you want to chat, I'm here. I'm for you guys. If not, thanks for being here. Thank you, Honest. You guys are awesome, and I hope you guys do truly listen to what, of course, just like everybody, you got to sift through what some of the crap and find the gold nuggets. And my sessions can be like that as well, but I do really try to bring you guys concise information and just make it potent, because I do really value your time and I appreciate you guys being here. So I can go on tangents at time because I'm so passionate about some of this stuff, but even the small stuff like we talked about earlier, every one of these lines are in here for a reason. So when I say stuff like practice mindfulness techniques such as meditation or journaling to enhance this focus and clarity, like that's in there for a reason. And I hope you guys do grab some of these one-liners and take hold and do something cool with it. Because it's all, I'm here for you guys, and researching this stuff enlightens me and helps me, and it's in line with where I want to be, and I want to share that with you guys. We need to hear this all the time. Thanks for the time it takes putting of course, Honest Money. It's my pleasure. That's stellar content, man. The absolute best. Sending you respect and gratitude. Dude, I appreciate that a lot. I appreciate you a lot. Thank you, Rough Stone. So yeah, you guys are awesome. Having a great week so far on the financial side, the education side. Jojo and Braden are putting in hard work and doing good stuff. So, I hope you guys are enjoying the community. We're CBZ, dang it. Well, this is recorded, so I'll put it out, and you could find it on YouTube within a couple hours. It takes a while to upload on 4K, but you'll get it here shortly, and you could just put it on 2x speed and listen through it. Take you 15 minutes. So appreciate you guys a ton. I really do hope you guys are enjoying this community, and when you want to see things differently, it's not like some big company. You guys can reach out to us on our DMs, and we're going to respond to you and talk through stuff and say, hey, you want to see more of this content? We're going to do more of this content. So appreciate you guys a ton. I hope you guys do something deliberately difficult today, whether that's going for a walk or doing a really hard HIIT workout or taking a cold shower or following a diet that you've been putting off. I hope you do something deliberately hard today to grow that brain part that we talk about pretty often. I do, at least, the anterior mid-cingulate cortex that grows and is a hub for your willpower, your dopamine release, all that good stuff. That physically grows when you deliberately do difficult things that you do not want to do. So go do those hard things today. Tell your loved ones that you love them. Enjoy the social times that you have, because in an instant, the person that you love most, unfortunately, may pass away, or you may pass away. So I hope you guys find Jesus. I hope you guys are truly valuing the people around you. I hope you guys are living this life, not just by getting by, but truly treating it as what it is, as a gift, treating the present as a present, and just doing good stuff, folks. So appreciate you guys a ton. Really, really do. And see you guys on Thursday, and then Friday for our prop firm giveaway. So, all right, friends, I'll see you later. Peace.